Hello, everyone. I am going to teach you how to make Christmas tags or holiday tags or really gift tags for anything that you want to do in the future. But right now we're going to show Christmas tags for the holiday season. You can see here all of the items that we're going to use today. We have a tag cutter, which you can borrow from the library. We have several here. We have a grommet setter. You don't actually need these, but it does give your tags a more finished appearance. You can see the grommet here makes it look all nice and finished. I have a couple of colorful sparkly pens just to write the to and from on the back or do any decorative work that I want to do. We have a few stickers that I've picked up all over. You can find stickers at the dollar store. You can find them at Joann's, Hobby Lobby, online, anywhere you like. The grommets, I picked up a large box of grommets on Amazon for $13, I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago, and I still haven't gone through all of them. And the front of some cards. And which cards you pick is one of the most important things and how you're going to use those cards. So let me move these out of the way and let's look at our cards. Today I grabbed 2 cards that I've been given over the years. One was a birthday card and one a Christmas card, but we are going to turn these into holiday tags. So where you cut things out, you can cut these out with a scissors if you happen to be really good at cutting straight lines. I am not, so I use the tag cutter. But you can see the Christmas one is just custom made for that, right? So we'll take that. We'll line up our Christmas tree in this case, and there's our tag, or the front of our tag. We'll do a second to be the back of our tag because some tags have outlines or different things on the back where it's been punched or writing on the back or different things. So we want to make sure that we can write our own things on the back. And I'm also going to do, let's do the house with the snowman, but you can see that that's upside down. And I don't want the tag to be upside down like that. So I'm going to take our card, or the remains of our card, rip it here and there. And this way I can position it how I want, making sure that you position things the way that you want them to turn out, and you look at how you're positioning them and what parts you're taking versus what parts you're leaving is very important when you're making these tags. So you can see right on the bottom, I have a section of holly, and I'm not necessarily interested in that section of holly. So I'm going to move things over, position it here. I like that scene. And we're leaving enough room right on the top here for our grommet to go. So I'm not going to mark or lose the house or anything else because there's our grommet. Whereas in the tree here, I know that the grommet is going to end up pretty much right where that star is. And there's no avoiding that in some of these. So we're also going to use my happy birthday from the cat, and we are going to make this into some holiday ones. And you can see that there's a decorative design on the back of this one, which I don't necessarily want to be writing over. So that's another reason why we will do a second piece as the back. But you can see now I have some really pretty decorative designs on here, and I can add my own stickers or decorations to accessorize that. That would also make a pretty back if I was okay with trying to write over the glitter, but that doesn't usually work very well. Okay, so I'm going to put away our cutter here, and I'm going to take our snowman. So I need a back, and I picked out it's actually another card that I had cut out previously, which I don't necessarily want to use this card. So, but I do need a back for it. So I will grab a glue stick. You can use Elmer's glue. You can use any kind of glue that you want. However, make sure that you get lots of glue on the edges, because if you don't get lots of glue on the edges, your card comes apart, your little tag comes apart, and that's not any fun. So we'll put those so that they match up and make sure we press our edges together well. Here we go. And you can see that the card is nicely together, but it has little bits of glue on the edges that are seeping out, which is fine. I just brush those. And now this is going to sit and dry for a minute while we attach a couple more. So this goes quite quickly. And we can also accessorize some before we attach them. So you can see I had a nice little snowflake in the middle of this one, and I put a little jewel in there. I'm going to attach it back to this one as well. These go quite quickly depending on what you want to do with them. So if you want to accessorize a great deal, then they're going to take more time. The most time-consuming part of making your own holiday tags, or for any tags, is picking out where you're going to cut and how to match them up. So, okay. And we have that one together. So again, we'll let that sit for a moment. And I also have, you can see this was the edge of a card, and it has a little bit of sparkly design there on the corner going down and around the edge. I like that because it's really nice for me to accessorize with a few stickers or little jewels or different things like that. In this case, I happen to have cat stickers, and that is going to be the base for one of my cat's Christmas stickers. So we will add it back to that one as well. I prefer, you may have noticed that I use the purple glue that dries clear. I prefer the purple glue just because then I can tell what kind of coverage I have around the edges. And that helps when I am seeing if, do I have enough? Is this actually going to stay together? Is my tag in 5 minutes going to come peeling apart and I'll be very annoyed? Or do I have everything lined up correctly and it's going to stay nicely glued together? Okay, so we'll leave those to dry. We'll add a few more in there. I have a few other pre-cut tags that I've done and not put backs on as well. So as you go through and do these, just make sure that you are being careful about handwriting. If somebody has written you a nice little note, you don't necessarily want that on a tag for someone else. If you have a nice design, or if you have words on your card that you're cutting out from, like the happy birthday from the cat, make sure that if you are cutting off sections, pay very close attention to where that grommet is going to go. Because when I go through and if I cut a section from this one, you can see it'd be very easy to line that up where the happy birthday is, but then I may end up losing that happy birthday because there'd be a grommet right there. So I may lose part of the H, I may lose part of the word, and depending on your saying, on your word, you may end up losing the actual meaning of what you're going for. That is going to definitely turn into another tag for me. I know just who to go for that one too. Some cards you will find are very, very thick. So I have a lovely Christmas card that I received, but you can see that's multi-layered. That's extremely thick. There are four layers in parts of this. The sleigh is too big to be cut out as its own in this type of card. And I'm going to have to make decisions on, do I want to peel these up? Do I want to leave it together? It's very hard. When you try to cut these out, it doesn't actually, this one is even thicker than I thought. It does not fit in the cutter. So in some of these cards, unfortunately, even though they are absolutely gorgeous and I would love to reuse them for something, I may end up pulling the sled off and sticking that onto a different one or using the backdrop for a tag. I'm not going to be able to use the entire card. That is something that is always sad, but at least you're using something and reusing parts of the card for a greater use. You can see this one has a backing already, and in some of them, you'll notice they aren't totally stuck, and this is one of those cases where you can see it's not totally stuck. As we wait for the other ones to dry, I'll show you that I just go in and glue the edges of that. And I'm just going to use this backing, and I'm not going to add another. Makes life easy. These type of cards are very quick to turn into tags and take very, very little effort, which is nice because some of them are very thick and very difficult and are a lot more time consuming. Like when you're trying to line up this edge here, it does not always work out so well. So our next step, since these have had a little time to dry, they really don't take that long. They don't have to be fully dry by the time you move on to setting grommets. They just have to be dry enough to where they're staying together. So my grommet setting tool is not, I don't believe we have one of these at the library. We do have the manual one that has a section and then a hammering part, which you can position over the grommet. But these are available if you are really into making these or really, really love adding grommets to things. I highly recommend a tool like this because it's easy. So you can see it has two sides. I can set larger grommets. This cuts out the hole for the grommet, and then this is the grommet setting section, which will do any size. And this will cut out a smaller hole for the grommet. And I have, in case you're wondering how much these run, I picked up a set of eyelet grommets in all different colors. You can see there, it was 75 cents at Goodwill. And then it was half off. So it was definitely a good investment, and I've enjoyed using those on birthday cards or different things like that. But in this case, I'm going to use the weathered brass ones. And these are my 1/4 inch. So I'm going to go in, I'm going to position that right about the middle. You can see here, if you want to, you can always position it different places. This is just cutting the hole. I move it around a little bit to make sure it's cut. You can use a hole punch. You can use any type of paper cutter. You can use a scissors if you want, but hole punches, I know you can buy them at the dollar store, just the single hole punch. That's what I've used before getting this little device. I'm going to do all of them. There we go. And you can see they come out really nice little edges there. I just make sure to move it around because I have had problems in the past, not with this, but with other hole punches, where it only punches part of it or it doesn't go all the way through. I'm going to empty it out over on this side a little bit. There we go. Now we take the grommet, and you can see the grommet has two pieces. It has the ring and it has the actual unit. So we are going to put the solid side of the actual grommet up in our tag. So towards the side that you want to see. Take this one. It's not always the easiest to push these through. There we go. And you can see it looks really nice and finished. I really enjoy how the grommets look, and it makes putting ribbons or different things on them so much easier. You can see the back on there is really nice and easy to write on. That's one of the other things when you're looking at cards or cardstock or anything for the backs of these tags. It's nice to have something that's not shiny, that's easy to write on. because otherwise, the ink doesn't set, it smears all over, and it's really no fun, and you just wrecked the card or the tag that you spent, well, a few minutes anyway, designing. So you can see here, let me open that up a little bit more. So you can see that the grommet setter has one side that has a little ball on it. That's the side that you can see right here, and the bottom does not. We want to make sure that the ball is on the back of the card, the part that's going to end up being spread out. And I'll show you what I mean, what it's going to do here. So I just crimped it. You can see that the inside of the grommet, so this part right here, was just spread out around the ring and is holding it securely in place. That's it. Congratulations. You made an absolutely lovely card or tag that you can purchase from any Etsy shop for a couple bucks for a pack of them, but you made it for extremely little money. You can pick up these grommet sets for a few bucks and they will last you years and years. Now let's accessorize a little bit. The accessorizing part is always the fun part for me. So I have my cat stickers. So if you watch for deals or after holidays, it's fun to pick these up because, well, they go on clearance sale. And also you have all of the cards, so it's a perfect time to sit down and make them for next year. So I like the cat with a ball of yarn. I think she's cute. Also, I happen to have two great cats, so it's a lot of fun for me. I'm going to throw that one on there. I don't have any ribbon with me today, but I might put some ribbon across here and add some more accessories. This one has those beautiful gold dots, so I'm going to grab a gold grommet and setting ring here, just to add a little bit more touch of festive cheer. And we'll go, it is hard sometimes to hold these correctly and get them into the hole because their hole tends to be a tad bit smaller than the grommet, just to make sure that the grommet stays in place. You don't want the grommets sliding around when you're trying to work on these because it makes it very difficult if you are trying to hold that grommet in place while you're trying to set it with the grommet setting tool. So again, you can see I'm just making sure it's on the ball, and I know it's on the ball of that tool because it moves around freely. Crimp it, and there we go. It is that quick. It is that easy. Anytime that you go to a craft fair and you see these beautiful tags, you will know that this is what they did, and this is how much time and effort they put into it. And like I said, it does take a lot of time and effort depending on the tags that you have. So we're going to take this one and do a nice 2. And from in a nice red glittery pen. They are just a lot of fun to play with. This is a rubber seal. Actually, it's not. It's made to look like a wax seal that I picked up some time ago at, well, they were clearanced out from wedding invitations, and they're just stickers, but they're nice holiday designs. And that made a lovely tag for that one. We have, this one has a nice open area. I thought I would put a snow globe in here. So we'll add that snow globe there. I love that, that house and snowman. I have some lovely snowman stickers that also happen to have a couple of snowflakes. I'm going to add some of those just to give it a little bit more sparkle. You can go as crazy or as plain with these as you like. It just depends on how much you want to add and how many decorations you feel well, you want to take the time to position. There we go. And then adding the grommets, and that is that. You end up with some absolutely lovely tags that you can use any time of year. So I have only shown you holiday tags. However, I have cut out additional cards to use for Halloween or birthdays or maybe a wedding. And again, this is one of those where you have to be very careful where you're cutting things out. You can see I'm going to have a problem with my grommet there. And I knew it, but unfortunately, with some of these, you really don't end up having a whole lot of choice. What you have to be very careful with is things like this, where you could end up cutting someone's head off with a grommet. Not a good idea. Does not make for a lovely tag. But you can see there's where our grommet would go, and it will work out just fine. So you can use any kind of card as long as you can cut it out. You can use it. I have a fun, we're glad we're your friends, birthday wishes. Lots of birthday cards will work wonderfully for this. This is the lining of the inside of a card, and you can see I've already cut a few out of here, but this makes a lovely back. It's thin, it's easy. The thicker, if you are using a second cutout card for the back instead of something that's a thinner paper, it is thicker, it is harder to push the grommet through. That's the only issue I've ever had with it. Other than that, they work beautifully, and the thicker using two cards tends to give you a more sturdy tag, a more substantial feeling tag, where using the paper seems to feel a lot thinner depending on which card front you use. So I may end up using something like that. And you can easily position stamps if you have a stamp that you want to use as to and from, or different holiday or different birthday effects. It works really, really wonderful to put those on the back. You can see this is an embossed one. That's what I was talking about, making sure that you have a backing, because you don't necessarily want to be trying to write on that. That is extremely difficult. I learned from previous mistakes, do not do that if you can help it. But there is a very quick tutorial on how to make holiday cards. You can check out the tag cutter and the grommet setting tools from the library, but you do have to have your own grommets, tag fronts. Glittery pens are nice and they make things lovely. Glue, and any stickers, ribbon, etc. that you want to accessorize with. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this quick tutorial.